Welcome to shop class. Welcome back, everybody. Hi, and welcome to shop class. Once again, if you're new to my channel, I am Joe. I am a shop teacher, and this has been my past week. I hope to earn your subscription through this video. Let's start out by talking about my Woods 1 class. My Woods 1 class, they're pretty productive this week, even though we still ended with a snow day at the end of the week. They've been working on the shaker peg shelf, and they made a lot of progress this past week. We started out by building 2 boards out of 1 board. And a little bit of this tails off from last week to this week, but they were able to square up another piece of lumber, and then they were able to do the cross cutting on it to get it to 24 inches in length. And then they were able to, after cross cutting it, then they were able to rip off a 3-inch piece and a 2-inch piece. Now, this 2-inch piece supports the shelf and hangs it on the wall. We will put keyholes in the back using a trim router. This 3-inch piece will end up putting 4 shaker pegs on, and then this will kind of hold that middle shelf up into the air. Then later in the week, we were able to once again rough cut boards, joint the face, joint the edge, plane the boards, and then rip them to 5 inches wide, cross cut them to 19. And I'm gonna put this nice and close so you can see. And then they were able to use the templates to draw out the 2 supports. I was able to do a small demonstration on how to use the bandsaw, how to use the edge sander. Then that was kind of the end of the week. Next week will be a lot of bandsaw work, and then we'll start getting in and doing some of the joint work involved in fastening this whole shelf together. So a pretty good week all in all. It was a fast week, ending with a snow day. You get what you can get, right? Now moving on to my Woods 2 class, once again, a pretty good week. We're doing this hybrid thing where one group comes in on Monday and one group comes in on Tuesday, and then they do repeat on Thursday, Friday. Snow days kind of mix up that whole A-B sequence. However, theme of this week was build a top. We talked about that a little bit last week with gluing it up, smiles and frowns, smiles and frowns. Then we had to take that board and do something that I call double planing. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but we basically ran this wide surface through the planer very lightly, got it to flatten off. We flip the board over, we do it again. Then we could join along one edge, rip on the other edge, use a cross-cut sled to get a third straight edge, and then we cross-cut using the fence to a finished length. As students were doing this, we were able to also set up a taper jig and start tapering legs. Tapering legs is not necessary, but it kind of gives the student just another idea of what a table saw is capable of and how to do that safely. We have built the taper jig. We used to use an adjustable one, but anything that's adjustable sooner or later will become unadjusted. And so that was pretty much the woodshop classes for the week. Real straightforward. You see little bits of carryover inside each week from the week before. I've got some students that are still building legs, building side aprons. They're very much staggered at this spot. But we keep pushing forward, giving those other students a place to look. So let's go talk about Power Tech classes now. Now with the Power Tech classes, my second year class, they're building motors now. Last week we built these little homopolar motors where we're spinning a screw where we're spinning a piece of copper wiring, and it's fun. It gets the students understanding how magnetism with electricity gets things spinning. So now we took some magnet wire, we put it between two pieces of copper, put a magnet underneath it. Using magnetic wire, we kind of spin around a socket, and then we electrify it. And by doing that, your top rotor starts to rotate, getting attracted towards the magnet, and they get to see that, this is a simple electric motor. Then they will move on, and one group got to start this project where they start to build a more complicated DC motor. It's kind of a toy motor. I bought these under different brand names, but I'm sure they're made by only a couple manufacturers. I bought them underneath Kelvin, Scientific, Science First, and I think another off-brand name. And we've been doing this for probably about 10, 12 years with students, and it's a real highlight of their PowerTech B class. And it will take them 2 or 3 class periods to build. Usually the students that get it built first are the students that actually have to go back and figure out why it doesn't work. And the students that take a little bit more time, follow all the directions, not just the pictures, those are the students that they put the little battery in it and it spins. My PowerTech A class, they're still in that whole taking engines apart stage. My high flyers, the students that really have a lot of mechanical ability, they're already past cleaning up the engines. They have now moved on to valve cleaning. And so they're using a wire wheel to kind of clean off the soot, the carbon deposits, and then we get in and start to talk about valve face angles, setting up a valve grinder, grinding the faces, and get them ready to do your whole valve reconditionings. Now, along with that, as a teacher, whether you're a shop teacher or whether you're a regular classroom teacher, we have to deal with students who are absent. Students who are absent a lot. They miss 2 or 3 days in a row. How do we catch them up? Or how do we keep them encouraged when they see everybody else leaving? So I still have a few students that are behind. They've missed a couple days. I had one student that's got a kind of a stubborn engine where the flywheel just broke as we're pulling it apart. Or we get the student that the blade holder is so stubborn that we had to pull out the torch and heat it up. And they lose some class time because of these problem engines. Keeping them encouraged is important. It's valuable. It's necessary. However, it happens. Some things just come apart. Some things need a little more attention. And so that's been PowerTech A. We're getting close to that spot where they're starting to turn the corner and engines will start to slowly go back together. Now, the auto class had a focus this week. And the focus this week was fluids, checking fluids. What fluids are fuels? What fluids are coolants? What fluids are lubricants? And talking about all the different fluids, what fluids need to be checked, what fluids have filters, what fluids have built-in sensors in the vehicles, and some you just have to check the levels periodically. Talking about how we can watch actually where we park as a detector of, are we losing fluids? If the fluids are getting lost, where are they going? And so we kind of went through that, some simple dipstick checks, some of the containers like a brake fluid and antifreeze, how they have translucent containers, reservoirs that they can actually kind of visually check the levels. I gave them a couple of stories of how you basically can't trust the sensors. If it has a dipstick, you need to check it. We also went through a 16-point checklist that they could actually use at home as far as even checking the fluids, like your air pressure is a fluid in your tire. going through and checking those. Clearly my scheduling was a little bit off and the students got through it a little bit faster in my smaller class. And so then we went ahead and started talking about serpentine belts, how to replace them, how the whole serpentine belt system works, and good experience for them. This has been my week as a shop teacher. Now, once again, these are the shop activities. That doesn't talk about the equipment that I got to repair this week. It doesn't talk about the grades that I got to input into a computer this week. It didn't talk about the background paperwork that we have to do pertaining to students, pertaining to budget, pertaining to my professional certificates. So lots of things go on, but I mostly think that people are interested in the shop hands-on activities, so that's why I'm sharing these. So I really appreciate some of the interaction that I've gotten. I really appreciate seeing some of the old shop teachers chiming in. I love those stories. I love seeing where this profession has gone. Some of it has died out. Some of it's booming and doing well. Where I teach here, we actually have a second gentleman that teaches full-time with me. And he teaches some of the woodworking classes, CAD classes, some basic construction classes. And then we have a stage and set design class that complements our drama program. And so we are alive and well here, and I really appreciate my school supporting me. And so I want to say thank you and have a great week. Bye now.